This is Mrs. Maben, the founder of Joy Senior Secondary School, Jabalpur. In the midst of her work, her mind frequently travels down the memory lane and often takes her back to how it was more than 40 years ago. After a brief stint as a substitute teacher, there grew in her a desire to plant the tree of knowledge in the young children. Her feet led her to this drumstick tree in Right Town, Jabalpur. Little did Mrs. Maben know that what she had started that day, 6th January 1964, would one day become a landmark in the educational history of this small town in central India. How was she to know it then? After all, how many of us can look into the seeds of time and say which ones will grow and which not? But hers was destined not only to grow, but to prosper. The journey began with Sangamitra, Arti, Shirish, Rita, Jyoti and Jayashree. It was more of a picnic than a school for them, and they found the same motherly love from Mrs. Vimla Maben. Her love for education proved infectious. The innate trust of the parents of the first 6 tiny tots at the zeal and devotion of this noble lady made other parents look up to her, and they were convinced that the journey of joyful years had begun for their children. This modest step ultimately proved to be a giant leap towards a mission called Joy. By the end of December 1964, this nursery had ended up with 10 students at Joy with infant and KG levels. By December 1965, the nursery started taking shape. The 3 primary grades, KG1, KG2 and KG3, with 23 students enrolled, formed then the educational structure. 1966 was an average year for Joy, but Jabalpur underwent a dreaded phase with diphtheria having broken out, and all the educational institutions remained closed from 18th September to 9th October. Mrs. Shailja Paranjpe and Miss J. Rahim joined as the first teachers at Joy in 1966 as Class 1 and Class 2 were started this year. The first student who was transferred from Joy was Shirish Netke on 19th August 1966. He continued his studies at Hayes Elementary, Urbana, Illinois, the USA, from grade 1 to grade 4. In 1969, the Joy family celebrated its 5th birthday and spent 150 rupees on gifts and decorations. The die was cast. A concrete shape had started emerging. The enrollment went up 16 times. In July 1972, 2 young girls, Deepti Satsangi and Rashmi Tiwari, joined the Joy family. Neither the parents nor the Guru Mother had ever thought that one day they would serve as principals of Joy. Deepthi held the post of Principal Joy Higher Secondary School from 10th June 1995 to 9th October 1997, and Rashmi from 10th October continues in the same capacity even till this day. First twins, Ashish and Yogesh Paranjape, were admitted to the family in the year 1974. The institution completed the first decade of its noble existence. At Joy, academics always got the first preference. The stress was especially laid on handwriting, and the Joyans are still recognized by the manner in which they write. Their first annual function was held in the year 1981 at Shahid Smarak. With the passage of time, the need for further expansion of the family became the demand of the parents. By now, Mrs. Vimla Maben had become synonymous with nursery education in the city of Jabalpur. While the academic life thus continued, on the administrative front, the Joy Education Society came to be founded on the 25th July 1985. The initial selfless active members of the society were Akhilesh Maben, Dr. S.B. Paranjpe, Mrs. Vimla Maben, Mr. Suresh Sarda, Mr. S.E.T. Isaacs, and Mr. Praveen Maben, along with a few others. Time had come to start a full-fledged primary school. Formation of the institution required the permission and recognition of the State Education Department. This was a Herculean task and a situation for which no one was ready. At this juncture, Mr. T.P. Sharma, ADIS, came to the rescue of this family and sympathetically helped them overcome this problem. Today, Mr. T.P. Sharma is the Secretary of the Joy Education Society. On the 1st July 1986, Joy Primary School came into existence at Radha Dham 124 AB, Kamla Nehru Nagar, Jabalpur. The first student, Tarun Jain, was admitted to Joy Primary on 16th April 1986. The institution adopted in letter and spirit the new education policy started by the then Prime Minister, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi. The already existing Joy Nursery opened the gates for a new setup, Joy Primary, managed by Joy Education Society. The society felt an urgent need for a further expansion of the family. The institution also shifted to Shastri Bridge Square, inducting many teachers to help retain the school's quality consciousness. Our first achievement in academics was in the year 1989 when Master Chetan Golwalkar secured 5th position in Class 5 District Board Examination. 22nd December 1990 marked the Silver Jubilee of Joy Nursery at Manas Bhavan. On this occasion, Mother Teresa was invited to be the guest of honor, but her humble refusal to this occasion reached the institution but with a positive message. Although I am keeping good health, my movements are restricted, and so it will not be possible for me to come. However, I assure you of my prayers, and I ask God to bless each one of you. Justice Gulab Chandra Gupta then consented to be the guest of honor. Mrs. Ritu Mukherjee was one of the 6 students present on this occasion. The school witnessed its regular growth in the form of both joining members and growing premises. A piece of land that the institution received from the local self-government at Wright Town at measuring 7,500 square feet was a significant gain. This was the first owned property of Joy Educational Society. The construction at the said site began on the 15th October 1991. A major cultural activity took place in the form of Kilkari, a theatre group where Joyans enacted the plays written by the late Sri Harishankar Persai. It was a great achievement in the year 1991. The school building was commissioned on its own premises in the year 1992-93, and from Shastri Bridge the school shifted to its new setup at 1144/1 Wright Town, Jabalpur. The first batch of class 10 took the high school certificate examination in 1993. With the commencement of the ensuing academic session, Mrs. Jyotsana Surendran joined as the first principal on 5th July 1993. In order to articulate the inner creativity of the children, the institution reset a platform for the third annual function at Manas Bhavan, which was presided over by the then mayor, Miss Kalyani Pandey.